Hello everyone.
Dr. Ruchi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
अभी वो बिजी है थोड़ा सेशन है जी जी जी
Hello everyone. Am I audible to you?
Yeah.
Hello sir, good morning.
Good morning.
So before we start, as we can see sir, the number of participants are increasing. So can we wait for some time, for a couple of minutes?
As you wish.
Or shall we start?
I think we can go for the introduction, then we can continue. By that time, other people will also join.
Yeah, we can go. Ruchi,
Yes, sir.
I think you can start with the introduction of the guest.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
So a very warm good morning to all. On behalf of IMBS team, I, Ruchi Saka, welcome you all to Bhagavad Gita series, A Science of Self-Discovery. The topic for today's session is personal identity. Who am I and why am I here? This event is organized by IAMBSS, that is Integrated Association of Medical Basic and Social Scientists. IAMBS founded in the year 2019. Registered under Societies Registration Act 1860, is a global rostrum that has enthralled huge interest for its exclusive inventiveness to consort academicians, researchers, clinicians, and social scientists from different disciplines on a common platform, with an aim to integrate and strengthen the scientific acquaintance. IMBSs also focus on the policy research and its implementation through fostering the convergence in multidisciplinary sciences. We are blessed to have eminent dignitary Dr. Sudesh Arya as our speaker for the series. He is working as professor in I Department, Government Medical College and Hospital, Chandigarh since June 2005. He did his MBBS from Pandit B.D. Sharma, PGIMS Rohtak in 1988, followed by MD Ophthalmology from Dr. R.P. Center for Ophthalmic Sciences, AIMS, Delhi in 1991. He became Fellow of International Association of Contact Lens Educators, Sydney, Australia in 2000. He worked as Professor, Department of Ophthalmology, B.P. Koirala Institute of Ophthalmology, Dharan, Nepal, on deputation from 2007 to 2008. His areas of interest are cornea, contact lenses, phacoemulsification, strabismus, and community ophthalmology. He's looking after eye bank and low vision clinic, also in the department. Sir also have life memberships of various scientific societies. He's teaching MBBS, MS ophthalmology, and BSc optometry students in Government Medical College and Hospital Chandigarh. He has total teaching experience of 30 years. He has published 89 research papers in various national and international journals. He has presented 173 papers in various national, international, and regional conferences. He has attended more than 140 national, international, and regional conferences. Beside the professional qualifications, Dr. Arya has vast spiritual background also. Sir is a senior member of ISKCON Chandigarh Temple Advisory Council. He is a faculty for certificate course in Upanishada and Gita in Punjab University, Chandigarh, in collaboration with ISKCON. He is member of Interfaith Discussion Group of Chandigarh, working in collaboration with British Deputy High Commission to bring peace and harmony in the society. He is also member of ISKCON Grihastha Preaching Forum and ISKCON Festival Committee. He is actively involved in teaching Bhagavad Gita based teachings in various schools, colleges, and corporates in and around Chandigarh. He organizes programs for jail inmates for their spiritual upliftment. He participates in Bhagavad Gita distribution campaigns in schools, colleges, and various corporate organizations. He regularly organizes various online and offline courses for community based on teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Some of the courses like training program for Bhakti Sastri course, ISKCON Disciple course, Discover Yourself course, Positive Thinker course, Self-Manager course, Preacher Training course, Child Protection Training course, and Pursuing Bhakti Vaibhav course. Sir, we are delighted to have you as our speaker for the series. We are also fortunate to have Professor Oliver Mike as our guest for the session. Professor Oliver has completed his scientific and clinical training at the Munster University Hospital. He is the head of the Department for Radiotherapy and Radiation Oncology at Franziskus Hospital, Germany since 2006. In addition, he is the medical director of Franziskus Hospital, a premier teaching hospital of the Medical University of Hanover. He has also chairman of German Collaborative Group of Radiotherapy for Benign Diseases. He has more than 500 publications in leading journals. So the quest for the seekers for the truth of personal identity stem up in every decade. I request Dr. Sudesh Arya to enlighten the audience with the topic for the same. Dr. Arya.
Thank you, Ruchi, for kind words and introduction. Good morning to all of you. First of all, I'm really thankful to IAMBSS, that is Integrated Association of Medical Basics and Social Scientists, who is doing a wonderful job in spreading the message of humanity and, apart from that, various other scientific innovations. So that's a great thing. All of them they are doing. So I'm fortunate to getting associated with such a good association. So as we know, the topic for today is very interesting topic. I'm especially really thankful to Professor Oliver, who joined especially from Germany. So we will be discussing with him about this part of spirituality. So I will be very fortunate to listen to him also at the last of the session. So let me share the topic for today's discussion. So basically, this is a type of seminar where we will like to have more of an interaction rather than any type of lecture. So I will be happy if all of us we will be having interactive discussion, and especially at the end of the session, we will have question answers as well. So that will be very nice. So whatever I'm going to discuss in this presentation, let me share PPT. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
किसको म्यूट करना है? Okay. Can you see the slide? Please excuse me, there is some little problem. Just opening PPT. Yeah, I think now it's open.
It's visible, sir.
Yeah. Sorry for delay. Just there is some technical hitch. So this is very interesting topic. Discover inner self. So our topic, like we said, who am I and where will I go, or from where I have come. So there are two things. First of all, to identify ourselves. Then second thing is, what is our purpose in this life? So if we take both the things together, so we can say discover our inner self. So that is I'm going to discuss. So in what is yeah. So very simple example I will take before we go to the main topic. Like you can see one car. So as a driver drives a car, so car cannot be driven itself. So some driver has to drive the car. Similarly, in our life, we need some driver to run our body. So that is a very simple way to understand soul, which we will discuss in detail later. So our body is made up of matter, while soul is made up of conscious. And definitely soul is superior to matter. So all these things which I have just used, soul, matter, consciousness. So these things we are going to discuss in detail. From this slide, we should just understand that as a car cannot be driven automatically, we need some driver to run the car. Similarly, our body is also being run by something that something is called as soul. So we are going to discuss that in detail. What is that soul? So let me tell you one very simple thing from the scriptures. So then it will be very easy to understand. So all of us know that there is a Kurukshetra. In the Kurukshetra, Lord Krishna gave message of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So that message is called as Bhagavad Gita. So what was that message and what was the need of that message? So first of all, we should try to understand that. Bhagavad Gita in chapter 1, verse number 29 says, Vepu Tushcha Sharire me Rom Harshan cha Jayate Gandivram Shamste Hastat Tvak Chaiv Paridahiyate. In that verse, Arjuna says, my whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiv is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. So what does it mean? He says when the war was just going to start between the Pandavas and the Kauravas, so he was the main person who was going to fight. So in between just before start of the battle, he says, I cannot fight because I am feeling very bad. My whole body is trembling. I am not in a position to fight. So that was his situation. And then subsequently, next he says, Nacha Shaknomi Avastatum Brahmat cha me mana nimittani cha pashyami vipritani keshva. So again he says to Lord Krishna, I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna. So he says that I cannot kill all these gurus, relatives, brother. So how can I kill them just to get the kingdom? I cannot do that. So basically he said that I will not fight. So that was his situation before the war started. Then we know what happened. So then Lord Krishna gave him the message, this beautiful message, what we say as Bhagavad Gita. So before this message of Bhagavad Gita was given to Arjuna, Arjuna was having totally lack of confidence. He was very anxious that why should I fight? Why should I kill all these people unnecessarily just to get the kingdom only? Then he was totally demoralized, although he was a very great warrior. So we can see that at that particular time, he was just forgetting his duty and he was in tremendous stress and almost in a depressed condition. So he was not able to speak, he was not able to stand. So such a person who was a great warrior cannot think of fighting, just forget about winning. But ultimately what happened? Then Lord Krishna gave him this message that is called as the message for the humanity, which was required for coming many centuries, not only centuries, but for the eternal time to come. So that message is called as message of Bhagavad Gita. So after listening to that message, Arjuna became ready for fighting, and then we know that he fought the war and ultimately he became victorious. So that is from the scriptures we know all these things. So then we should know how he became ready for this war and then how he won that fight. So that is the thing we have to understand. So basically it was knowledge about the soul from Lord Krishna that changed his attitude, that changed his spirit, and because of that he could win that war. So this was knowledge about the soul. So Bhagavad Gita basically tells us what is soul and what is the purpose of soul. So that is an important topic which we are going to discuss now. So in this seminar, which will go for 2 consecutive weeks. So this topic, first thing we are going to discuss is, am I matter or am I spirit? Like Arjuna thought that he is a matter. So at that time, he just forgot his duty. But later on, when he came to know that, no, he is not matter, he is spirit, he is soul. And then once he came to know, then he fought and then he won also. So then we will discuss, if we are soul, what are the various proofs that there is soul? So scientific proofs of soul that we will discuss. Then after that, we'll discuss what is the difference between living person and a robot. Nowadays we are We are seeing so many robots doing everything. But can a robot replace human being? So that is the topic for discussion. So we will know how the robot is different from a human being. Then how our mind works. That is another very important part to understand. Like we say soul, we say body. There is another very important thing that is called mind, how our body and soul works. So what is the role of mind in our body? Then we are discussing soul. Why should we discuss soul? Why should we know about the soul? So then we will discuss what are the practical benefits of knowledge of soul in our day-to-day life. So on these headings, we are going to take this topic. So let's first go for very simple thing. Am I matter or am I spirit? So again, if I ask one very simple question, which is that question of our topic also, who are you? So if I ask anybody, everyone will say that I am so and so. They will say that, like I say, I'm Dr. Sudesh Arya. I'm living in Chandigarh. I'm Indian, or I am black, or I'm white, or I'm doctor, or I'm professor, or I'm as a working in medical college. So these types of answer everyone is going to give if we ask, who are you? But actually, if we go by the scriptures, all these things which I told, these are the just designations which are basically attached to my body. But we are not the body, because what is our body made up of? We can see from the scientific knowledge. Dr. Harry Monson, he's a professor of anatomy, and what he says, our body is basically made up of various types of electrolytes. Like he says, this calcium, phosphorus, potassium, all these things, then sulfur, sodium, magnesium. So all these things, those who belong to medical profession, they know these things very well. So our body is made up of all these chemicals, and that is called as matter. So if we take all these matter together and then count the value of all this matter, which makes our body, so then it comes out to almost maybe 110 rupees, maybe more than 10, maybe 1000 rupees, you can say. So can we think that our body is made up of all this matter and which is just costing just 2000 rupees only? So cost of human body is just that much? No, I don't think nobody is going to be convinced by that. So why our body is so important, so valuable? So if we think that our body is made up of just chemicals which are there in the body and there is nothing else, then our value is very, very less. But all of us know that our value is invaluable. Like if somebody is dying on the road, some accident happens and there is a Mercedes car and somebody is dying. Mercedes costing lakhs or maybe crores, and some person is dying who may be costing 110 rupees as per the scientific research, 110 rupees or 1000 rupees for chemicals. But practically what we see, if somebody meets an accident, so we save Mercedes car or we save the person. So everyone will take the person and will take the person to the hospital so that he is saved. Whatever damage has occurred to the Mercedes, he is not bothered. So then why is it so? So this is because that person is not made up of just chemicals. There is something very invaluable in the body of that person. Because of that, that person is invaluable. So Mercedes, there is some value, but that person is invaluable. So we cannot say that his cost is that much. So you can say, I think everybody can identify who is she. So all Indians, we know this is Sri Devi. So she was very beautiful actress in Mumbai film industry, very famous actress. But after that, so before, when she was living, she was very beautiful, doing so much songs, films, and she was very, very popular. But once she died recently, so you can see her face, how does it look like? So totally, you can say nobody's going to say that now this is beautiful face. So same person, same body, but after death, it is totally changed. So why is it so? Now, even in this body also, there are same chemicals, same matter, everything is same in this body as it was there before death. So what is the difference between living and between the dead? So science will say heart attack or brain dead, like that thing. But brain is there, heart is also there, all the organs, they are still there in this body. but we can see everything is changed. Now, that person who has died has no feelings, no thinking, no desires, no movements, no consciousness. So all this has changed. Why it has changed? If we go by the scientific analysis, whatever was there before death, that is still there in that body. So it means there is something extraordinary which is there. Because of that, our body is beautiful. We can think, we can feel. But once that thing is gone, then it becomes a dead body. So what is that thing which has gone? That is called as soul or Atma. So that is the most precious thing. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says about soul, that this, what is this soul? So he says, Na jayate mrite va kadachin, na ayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya, ajo nitya shashvato ayam purano, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So he says, the soul basically na jayate mrite, it is never born, it is never killed. It was existing, it is existing, and it will exist forever. It is always eternal. Na hanyate hanyamare mane sharire means it cannot be killed by anything. So then when we say that somebody has been killed or somebody has died, as the Arjuna was thinking that all of these people will be killed. So then who was killed? So there Lord Krishna said to Arjuna that all these people, it is only their body that will be killed. Otherwise, human body that will be killed, but the soul cannot be killed. So we can say that our existence, that is always eternal, because we are the soul, we are not the body. So that's why we are eternal. Whatever dies, what is that? That is basically our body. So that was the message to Arjuna. So when Arjuna understood this message that I'm not the body, I'm the soul, then he became ready for the fight. Because for the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. Soul is always eternal. That is the ultimate message of this Bhagavad Gita. So we can see that what is soul? So soul and the body, what is the difference? So our body is basically made up of matter. So what is this matter? So all our scriptures say that body is made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So these are the 5 things which constitute matter. So our body is made up of this matter. So once we are born, body is made up of this. Once we die, then again body merges into these 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. While the spirit soul, that is actually called as consciousness or the energy in the body, so that always exists. So soul is made up of spirit. Then other thing is matter is never conscious. So there is no consciousness. As we discussed, the body of the Sri Devi, so when she is dead, so it is not conscious. Once she was living, it was living because of praises of consciousness. So this consciousness in the body, it is because of soul, that is spirit. So once there is this consciousness in the body, then person is living. Once that soul goes away, that means his consciousness that goes away, then person becomes dead. So soul is always conscious, while the body is, because it is made up of matter, so it is never conscious. So then other thing is our body keeps on changing. Like when we are born, then we are small child, then we grow, then we become adolescent, then we become middle-aged, then old age, and ultimately we dwindle, and then we die. So that is the fate of any matter, because it always goes away. So it is very, very important to know key our body and soul. So some request has come that it should be mix of Hindi and English. So I was just thinking Professor Oliver may not understand Hindi, so I will still try to make mixture of English and Hindi. So here it is very important to know कि हमारा जो शरीर and our soul, शरीर and Atma. Soul is called as Atma and body is शरीर. So what is the difference? So important difference is earth, water, fire, air, ether. That is our body, and soul is spirit. Soul has consciousness. Because of that, we are looking living or lively, and matter or the body has no consciousness. Then our sharir, our body, that keeps on growing and ultimately dies. So that we can see fate of anything, like any stone or any patthar. What happens? It becomes, suppose it's a very big mountain. Slowly and slowly it becomes small, 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 and ultimately it vanishes. But our soul, it never changes. हमारी जो आत्मा है वो हमेशा कैसी है? अनंत, इटर्नल. उसका स्वरूप कभी भी चेंज नहीं होता. That is the beauty of the soul. Another thing is our body is temporary. तो जैसे हम जानते हैं कि अभी इन कलयुगा अगर किसी की लाइफ है तो it will be maximum 100 years. It cannot be more than that. So our body is temporary. So this body is temporary. So maybe 40, 50, not more than 100 years, 120 years in the European countries, but it is not more than that. So it means it is temporary. So everybody will have to die one day. So जिसका जन्म हुआ है उसका मृत्यु जरूर होगा. That is what we know. But what about soul? Soul, जैसे अभी हमने भगवद गीता से वर्स डिस्कस किया, तो it is said it is eternal. So soul never dies. It is always permanent. So soul is always eternal means that it will not die and it will not be born. आत्मा का ना कभी जन्म होता है ना कभी मृत्यु होगी. जो मृत्यु होती है वो किसकी होती है? शरीर की होती है. इसलिए हम बोलते हैं कि डेड. तो डेड का मतलब हमारा जो शरीर है, हमारा जो 5 भूतों का जो शरीर बना हुआ है, that is dead. So it means now it will not work, while soul always works. So when we say person is alive, that means there is soul in his body. जब आत्मा चली गई, जब soul has left the body, then that person will be called as dead. So we are alive, it is because of soul only. So now the body that you see in the mirror, अगर हम जैसे शीशे में देखते हैं तो हम क्या देखते हैं? अपना चेहरा देखते हैं. तो we see our face. So is it that the real person which I am seeing? If I see into the mirror, मुझे अपना जो चेहरा दिख रहा है, क्या मेरा चेहरा that is the my reality? No. Real person is my soul, which I cannot see in the mirror. That is called as Atma, or that is called as the soul. So that soul is running my body, not that my body is being run automatically. Like people think our heart is working, brain is working, तो इसलिए सब कुछ चल रहा है. लेकिन heart and brain, why they are working? So we have to think that why they are working. So they are working till the time soul is here. Once soul leaves the body, then they do not work. Then if we take the scientific viewpoint, so what they say, this matter or this bhautik padarth, what is called as, it is made up of, our body is made up of matter, and then we are not more than a chemical bundle. Means all these chemicals we discuss, these are there in our body. तो अगर हम सिर्फ chemical का हैं, then why, what is the role of soul? Then why we cannot produce everything what these chemical can produce? So other thing is scientific people think that we are finished at the time of death. So one death is there, everything is finished. But what is the spiritual viewpoint? The spirituality says that we are not the material body of flesh and bones. So that we discussed. If we are just flesh and bones, then our cost is just around 1,000 rupees only. But we are invaluable. So we are not just the material body made of flesh and bones. We are spirit soul encased in the material body. So basically our body is having some soul that is called as consciousness also, or Hindi में that is called as चेतना. तो हमारे शरीर के अंदर जो चेतना है, that is the most important thing. Because of that our body is working, otherwise it cannot work. Then when we die, actually we do not die. It is only material body, that is our sharir, only that stops functioning. Otherwise our soul is eternal, it always keeps on working. So that concept we should try to understand, that we are always eternal, we are not temporary, we are working, our soul is forever. So how to see that? So basically, where the soul exists. So basically, like you can see, there is a cage. So in this cage, some bird is there. Okay, so this bird cannot fly outside. So it is encaged in this cage. So this bird. Similarly, the soul is encaged in our body. So once this bird comes out of this cage, that bird is free. Similarly, when our soul comes out of our body, then soul becomes free. So then what will be left is just cage. Similarly, our body will be left, and that body is called as dead body. So how to think that soul exists or not? What is the proof of soul? So let's go and discuss that. So another analogy given here is that, like somebody tries to polish this cage made of gold and takes care of very good care of this cage, but does not care of this bird. That is nothing to be given for this bird for eating, but whatever this cage is there, पिंजरा is there, उसको daily polish करें, तो क्या होगा? That bird will definitely die. तो जब तक हम दोनों का केयर नहीं करेंगे, मतलब पिंजरे का भी ठीक है और बर्ड का भी, अगर बर्ड का केयर करेंगे पिंजरे का नहीं भी करेंगे तो भी that bird will remain alive. But if we just forget the bird and just keep on polishing the cage, that bird is going to die. Same thing happens to our soul also. So our soul is there inside our body. So what we do daily, we are trying to care about our body. So we try to polish our body, means we go to the gym, we do exercise, we try to go to all beautician, everything. So what we do, we try to make our body look very beautiful. But what about soul? So we don't know that something called soul is there inside our body. So we are not doing anything, and we don't know anything what is the food for the soul. We know what is the food for our body. हमें शरीर में क्या देना है, क्या नहीं देना है, that everybody knows, but nobody knows. So nobody knows that there is something soul, and that also requires some food. So that is our problem. So we are not feeding anything to our soul, just doing everything for our body. So usse what will happen to that? As we discussed, this bird will die if you do not feed to that bird. Similarly, what will happen to our soul? That we will discuss what happens to our soul. So before going to that, let's first discuss now. All of you must be wondering, I'm saying soul, soul, soul. What is the proof there is some soul? Is it there or not? What is the proof that soul is there? So let's discuss very few important things, very common things by which everybody can understand that there is soul. So first of all, by our simple common sense. Then second thing is by consciousness, and third thing will be near-death experience and out-of-body experience. And then fourth is reincarnation research. So what is common sense? By that we can know that there is soul. So you can see this picture here, somebody has died. So now what we'll say when somebody dies? We say that person has passed away. But where the person is lying there, so in front of you, person is lying, but we say he has or she has passed away. So question arises, who has passed away? Person is lying there, then why we are saying passed away? जैसे नॉर्मली हिंदी भाषा में बोलते हैं वो गुजर गया, तो कौन गुजर गया? जिसका कह रहे हैं गुजर गया, वो तो यहाँ पे लेटा हुआ है, he is lying here. Then who has gone? So then if you use your common sense, then we come to know that there was something inside the body that has passed away. वो गुजर गया, वो चला गया. So what was that? That was soul. So when some person dies, his soul leaves the body. So that passing or leaving of that soul from the body, that is called as dead body. So that is one very important common sense. And then what is the role of that soul? So basically that soul is running our whole body. Another example I can give you, like suppose I'm wearing gloves. So once gloves are in my hand, so the gloves, if I move my fingers, then these gloves also move. So actually gloves are moving because finger is moving. Once I remove the gloves from my finger, from my hand out, then can these gloves finger move? No, they cannot move because they were moving because my finger was moving. तो जब हम gloves पहनते हैं तो जब ग्लव्स पहनने के बाद अगर ग्लव्स हमारी फिंगर के ऊपर है तो फिंगर घुमाएंगे तो ग्लव्स मूव करेगा। जैसे हमने ग्लव्स को बाहर निकाल दिया तो ग्लव्स अपने आप नहीं हिलेगा। तो ग्लव्स की उंगलियों को हिलाने के लिए हमें अपनी उंगलियों को हिलाना पड़ता है, तब वो हिलता है। तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि ग्लव्स को हिलाने के लिए कुछ चाहिए। तो इसी तरह से हमारे शरीर को, हमारी बॉडी को भी चलाने के लिए कुछ चाहिए, तो वो क्या है? सोल। इसको आत्मा बोलते हैं। इसी तरह से एक और एग्जांपल लेता हूँ। जैसे सपोज मैंने अभी ब्लू शर्ट पहनी हुई है, ठीक है। अब कुछ देर के बाद हो सकता है मैं व्हाइट शर्ट पहन लूँ, तो कोई मेरे को बोले मेरी ब्लू शर्ट देख के, ही कैन से टू मी, ओ ब्लू पर्सन, ओ ब्लू शर्ट पर्सन, but after some time I'm wearing a yellow shirt, red shirt, then he will say to me, oh red shirt person. So it means I'm changing every time. Yes, I'm changing, but what is changing? I'm changing my shirt. But actually I was same. With blue shirt also I was Dr. Arya, with the red shirt also I was Dr. Arya. So I am same, but I'm changing my shirt. So if I change my shirt, so somebody say no, with blue shirt it was different Dr. Arya, with the red shirt it was a different Dr. Arya. So is it logical? It is totally illogical. Same person, but wearing different shirt. Similarly, our soul also, soul remains same, but it keeps on changing its body. So it may be human body, it may be animal body. So that our scriptures say that there are 84 lakhs of species. So one can go to any of these species, and then one can live like that. So that is very simple example. Other very common sense example I will give you, like I say this is my head, this is my hand, this is my finger. I will never say I am finger, I am head, I am tongue, I am leg. What I say? It is my leg, it is my head, it is my body. So whose body, whose finger, whose head, whose mouth? So it is basically belonging to something inside our body that is called as soul. So by common sense we can understand that we always use this language कि वो गुजर गया। कौन गुजर गया? आत्मा गुजर गया, शरीर तो वहीं पड़ा हुआ है। मेरा हाथ का मतलब कि मेरा किसका? सोल का हाथ। सोल कह रहे कि मेरा हाथ है, बॉडी तो नहीं कह सकती कि मेरा हाथ है, बॉडी तो पूरी है। Okay, so by these common sense examples we can know that there is something called as soul. So actually soul once leaves the body, then we label the person as dead. Another thing is consciousness. So what do you mean by consciousness? So feeling is very, very important. So any matter, it cannot have any feeling. Jesse, for example, this is a camera you are seeing. So camera is taking photograph of some all this red you are seeing. अब कैमरे ने फोटो ले लिया, so now red picture is seen. But another thing is, these two people are going and they are seeing this red. So camera is also capturing a red picture and these people are also seeing red. So then who can explain what type of redness, what is the atmosphere, मौसम कैसा है, सारा red अच्छा लग रहा है, बुरा लग रहा है, it is very enjoyable. So can the camera tell? No, camera is a matter. So camera can just capture the picture and it can give same thing which we can see ourselves also. But camera will not have any feeling because it's a dead matter. So there is no consciousness. So camera cannot enjoy. अभी बहुत अच्छा मौसम है, मैं enjoy कर रहा हूँ. But these people, human being, they will enjoy seeing this type of beautiful nature. So basically, I will say that the difference between the matter and the soul is there is some consciousness, there is some feeling, thinking, willing, and everything that is there if there is soul in our body. Once soul leave the body, जब आत्मा चला गया, तब हमारा शरीर, चाहे उसके अंदर हार्ट भी है, ब्रेन भी है, सब ऑर्गन है, but then that does not expresses any feeling. So there are no feelings at all. It is just feelingless. And whatever movement, like I'm walking or something I'm doing, so it is because of my soul only. And soul is conscious. How it is conscious? So basically, again, very simple example I will give you. Like now I'm running this computer, I'm talking, and through Wi-Fi I'm getting connection, and then through internet I'm using this. Suppose now electricity goes and my Wi-Fi stops. So can this be transmitted? No, everything will stop there only. So it means there is some powerhouse which is giving electricity. So once that electricity is coming, then I'm doing everything. So that energy is coming, then everything is matter that is working further. Otherwise, it cannot work. So similarly, our body works when there is some electricity or the power. So what power? What is that power? That power is our energy in the body, and that energy is basically soul. So once there is soul, our body will work. When that soul is gone, it will not work. Similarly, my mic is working till the time it is connected to the system. It is connected to the Wi-Fi, connected to the light. Once not connected to the Wi-Fi or light or Zoom, then it is not going to speak, even if there is mic. So mic is still there, laptop is still there, but it will not work. Similarly, our body will not work when all these things, that is soul, is not there. So basically we will say body is the instrument, and this consciousness or the soul, that is the energy giving to this body. So once this energy is gone, then this body is useless. Similarly, another example, very simple, I can say like guitar is there or any musical instrument. So it can produce so many musical notes, but when some person comes and uses that instrument, so those notes are there in that musical instrument, but those can be listened if somebody plays to them. So what is that somebody? That is soul. So somebody comes, plays, then there is everything is there. Otherwise, that musical instrument that is just like a matter. So practically, soul is thing which keeps on changing the body. जैसे suppose मुझे यहाँ से दिल्ली जाना है, तो दिल्ली जाने के लिए I can go by scooter, I can go by car, or I can go by plane also. But I need something to travel from this place to that place. Similarly, our body has to travel. That is, our soul has to travel from one body to another. So that body may be initial human being, then can be animal, or then can be any of these things. But souls keeps on traveling. It doesn't stop. As like I want to go to Delhi, I can go by car. And then I can go by plane also. I can go by scooter also, whatever. But I need some vehicle, only then I can go. If I don't have anything, then I cannot go. Similarly, our body also, if want to go somewhere, then it needs some driver. So what driver that is there in our body, that is called as the soul. So without driver, car cannot be run. Without driver, nothing can happen. Body cannot move. In same way, our body cannot move without driver, and that driver is basically our soul. So we need our soul to express our feelings, willingness, intention, all these things. All organs, they work because there is soul inside the body. So because of these things, we say that there is soul. Then further to prove, then we will discuss out of body and near-death experience. And then after that, there are few reincarnation research. So I think the time which was allotted, that is over. So I think better to take few questions. Then we may continue this in the next subsequent session, I think. So I think that's out of this whole part, I just covered maybe not more than 10%. So with this, let's discuss few questions.
Thank you, Dr. Arya, for elaborating the theme for today's session. I may now request for some expert opinion by Dr. Oliver Mike to put some good words about today's session first.
Thank you, Dr. Arya, for this excellent talk and a very, very interesting session and the interesting insights in your and the ideas on soul. Maybe I can share with you, if it's a little bit time, some of my ideas. Maybe it's
sure.
possible. Okay.
Yes.
Here we go. So if you see, we're talking about spirituality, we talk about the soul and the question who I am, and if we talk about soul, how many? Is there one soul? Has everybody only one soul? Have everybody a lot of souls? Things of what we can think about. And as I come from a Christian background, so we have the Bible, everybody of you know, and there is an interesting thought written, and so it is written that the first man, that was Adam for us, was made a living soul. So you see, the things you discussed and you reported are very similar to the things we are thinking, that living and soul is combined, has something to do with an arrow. And in Greek, in Old Greek, we say psyche. That means that that at one side Adam has a soul, but he was also made a quickening spirit, and so you see soul and spirit, or as you see consciousness, had something to do with another. And in our philosophy and our opinion, we say everyone is a spiritual being. And I put something together, just this may be a little bit easy, but it maybe makes things a little bit better to compare, because if we come from different philosophical backgrounds, we go to think about the things a little bit different. And you see here Western philosophy compared with Eastern philosophy. And clearly, this is an easy comparison, but it may maybe make something more clear. In the Western, we say there is spiritual reality, a physical one, and this is separated. This means body and spirit is separated. In Eastern, there is only one reality. Western philosophy, human life is often valued above other lives, but Eastern say all lives be viewed as sacred. So we had a discussion in the chat on have a bacteria soul. Can think about it. The divine is part from material and exists separately from him. And in Eastern, the divine is part of the creation and found everywhere in it. The journey of mankind is linear, and in Eastern, the journey of mankind is cyclical. And the goal of the life, what is the goal? What is the sense of life? And this is one of the major questions in all philosophies. Why I am, not only who I am, but also why I am. The goal to deal with the problem of sin and immortality and be united with God. And in Eastern, the goal is to deal with the problem of ignorance and achieve enlightenment. So, and if we compare it, we see that many things are easily comparable, from Western psychology, Western philosophy to Eastern philosophy. And in our opinion, we say God is in the minimal. You see God in the smallest part of life, as well as in the largest parts of life in the nature, what is also very similar to Eastern philosophy. But the man is living in this nature, and we have to stay there, and we have to find our place. And the other thing is, what is of the eternity, what is of the endlessness is life. Life is not endless, but the love of God is endless. And we found ourselves all often in the nature, in the beauty of nature. You see here this beautiful lake in Switzerland, but also man can be divided from all. I'd go back to nature. But maybe sometimes it's a matter of perspective. And we look at this picture from St. Francis. St. Francis is the saint who is the name saint of our hospital, and he died. And if you look at the details, you see this smoke, this fog here above. And looking more in the details, you see that there are interesting details which can be found. As we say, the devil lies sometimes in the detail. So thank you very much. This is are some of my very imperfect ideas. But I think if we look at it, it's not quite different from that I heard. So thank you very much that I had the opportunity to stay with you in this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Oliver, for sharing your wisdom words and the philosophy of Western and Eastern of the divine. Moving on to Dr. Arya, sir, we have a few questions from the audience. So the first question is from Dr. Anil Gupta. Do all living things such as bacteria, viruses also have soul? And non-living things also have soul? If they have, then where is the consciousness?
Let me just say a few things about Professor Oliver statement.
Sure, sir.
Then we'll
Sure,
take question. Thank you, Professor Oliver, for your wonderful sharing of this experience. Just 1 or 2 points I will just to share this Eastern philosophy, what we say Bhagavad Gita philosophy. So basically, first thing is 2 things. One is soul, another is body. So these 2 things are totally separate. So soul, again, that is a very detailed that we will discuss subsequently from where the soul has come. So Bhagavad Gita says that soul has come from the spiritual kingdom. So there is a kingdom of God from where the soul comes in this material world. So there are 2 things. One is material world, other is spiritual world. So our soul comes from the spiritual to the material world. Then when it comes to the material world, then we take the body which is made up of matter. So ultimately aim of our this soul is not just enlightenment, but ultimately, just as your philosophy said in Western philosophy, same philosophy ours says that ultimately soul has go back home, back to Godhead. That is there to connect to the God. Like Bhagavad Gita, the summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita says, that is sarv dharman paritaje mame ekam shram vraja tvam sar papebhyo mokshishami ma shucha. So where the Lord says that leave everything and just come back to me. Even all sin that will be finished by me if you surrender to me. So main crux of the Bhagavad Gita is that every soul has to serve the Lord, and ultimately they should not keep on moving in the cycle of birth and death. So that is useless thing. So our Eastern philosophy doesn't say that we should remain in this cycle of 84 births. We should come out of this cycle and ultimately go and unite with the Lord. So that is the ultimate philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, that we should not remain in this world. So person who are entrapped in the karma philosophy, that is good karma, bad karma, so they will remain entrapped in this world, 84 species, 84 lakh species. But people who are working for the Lord, who are serving the Lord, then they will be spared from this cyclic version of human being, coming, going, coming, going. They will go to the God abode ultimately. So that is just I want to clarify. So I think in next lecture we'll discuss this thing in detail, from where the soul has come and why soul has come to the material world. So that also Bhagavad Gita very nicely clarifies. Thank you, Professor Oliver. So now we can take question. Ritu, can you repeat the first question? Or I can put it in the chat box. I can read. Do all living things such as bacteria, virus also have soul, and not living things have soul? If they have, where is consciousness? So again, we have discussed very clearly that matter. So matter doesn't have any consciousness. Consciousness means living. So all bacteria, virus, even this coronavirus, so all they are living. So anything which has consciousness, that is called as living. Otherwise, that is called dead. Dead means no soul. So we discuss matter like earth, water, fire, air, ether. So ये 5 जो तत्व कहते हैं भौतिक तत्व, तो ये क्या है? मैटर है, इसके अंदर सोल नहीं होता, लेकिन जिसके अंदर सोल होता है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज लिविंग, जिसमें जैसे हमारे हिंदू संस्कृति में बोला गया 84 लाख स्पीसीज ऑफ लिविंग एंटिटीज आर देयर. सो दे हैव लाइक जो ह्यूमन बीइंग है, मनुष्य है, 4 लाख तरह के मनुष्य हैं, 4 लाख टाइप ऑफ स्पीसीज ऑफ ओनली ह्यूमन बीइंग. सो दैट मीन्स ह्यूमन बीइंग आल्सो हैव डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ लेवल ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस. प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल, लाइक देयर इज वन पर्सन हु इज अ टेररिस्ट, उसकी कॉन्शियसनेस है मार दो सबको. दूसरा एक पर्सन है सेंटली पर्सन, जिसका काम क्या है, एक चींटी को भी नहीं मारना. सो ये क्या है? दैट इज अ वैरायटी, दैट इज अ रेंज ऑफ द ह्यूमन बीइंग. तो इस तरह के ह्यूमन बीइंग बिल्कुल पूरा कंपैशन हो सकता है, और दूसरा टोटली बिल्कुल जिसमें कोई कंपैशन नहीं है. तो इस तरह के 4 लाख स्पीसीज सिर्फ ह्यूमन बीइंग की है. तो इस तरह से 84 लाख योनियां बताई गई है इन हिंदू संस्कृति और इन भगवद गीता. ओके, सो वायरस, बैक्टीरिया, ये सब क्या है? लिविंग है. उनके अंदर भी वही सोल है जो हमारे. दैट इज ऑल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट कि जो सोल हमारी है वही सोल चींटी के अंदर है, वही सोल हाथी के अंदर है, वही सोल शेर के अंदर है. So there is no difference of soul in any living entity. All living entity, they are a separated energy of the Lord. भगवान की वो सेपरेटेड एनर्जी है, और ये मटेरियल एनर्जी, ये भी सेपरेटेड एनर्जी है. मटेरियल एनर्जी इंफीरियर है, और लिविंग एंटिटी दे आर द सुपीरियर एनर्जी. तो दोनों के अंदर जो सुपीरियर एनर्जी है, सारे लिविंग एंटिटी सभी के अंदर, लेकिन सोल की क्वालिटीज सेम. आई थिंक इट्स क्लैरिफाइज योर क्वेश्चन. Okay, Ritu, next question.
So the next question is from Mr. Mahesh.
Yeah.
They are asking that bacteria are living beings. Who keeps them alive? They must have soul.
Yeah, already clarified. So all these organisms, they have soul. So God has made everything in a way that they have something for their eating. Survival of the fittest, we know that is a philosophy. So lion will kill other and the other will kill other. So it is like that. For human being, all these vegetations and everything is there. So जिसका भी जन्म हुआ है, भगवान ने उसके खाने पीने का अरेंजमेंट हमेशा किया है. जो हाथी है, उसको भी इतना वेजिटेरियन है, उसको कितने टन डेली चाहिए, लेकिन कभी सुना है कि हाथी भूख की वजह से मर गया हो? कभी नहीं सुना. So because Lord arranges everything for every living entity. So because we are all children of God. जिस तरह से एक पिता, पेरेंट्स अपने बच्चे का पूरा ध्यान रखते हैं, पेरेंट्स टेक केयर ऑफ देयर चाइल्ड, सिमिलरली लॉर्ड टेक्स केयर ऑफ एवरी लिविंग एंटिटी. हम इसको नहीं समझते, लेकिन भगवान हर लिविंग एंटिटी का पूरा ध्यान रखते हैं.
So the next question, Mr. Ashutosh, why soul comes in material world if it is essentially divine?
Yeah, actually it's a very long topic, but again briefly I will tell because it will be coming in the next section. But थोड़ा सा बता देता हूँ. So basically what happens, we are part of the Lord. ठीक है, there is a spiritual kingdom where Lord is eternally living. तो क्या होता है कि जब हम लॉर्ड इज ए बेसिकली आवर सोल इज सत्य चित आनंद. ओके, सो व्हाट इज द क्वालिटी ऑफ द सोल? सत्य चित आनंद. सत्य मीन्स इटर्नल, चित मीन्स फुल ऑफ नॉलेज, एंड आनंद मीन्स फुल ऑफ ब्लिस. सो आवर सोल इज full of bliss, full of knowledge, and it is eternal. So that is the quality of Lord also, God also. So once we try to compete with the Lord, that we think we भगवान enjoy कर रहे हैं, भगवान मस्ती में है, तो मुझे भी मस्ती करनी है, मुझे भी enjoy करना है. So once that thing comes into our mind, then Lord says, okay, you also want to enjoy separate from me. Ideally, our scripture say that we should serve the Lord. We are not the master, we are the servant of the Lord. That should be our attitude of the soul. Soul is meant for serving the Lord, not enjoying the Lord. लेकिन जब हम सोचते हैं कि मुझे एंजॉय करना है, मुझे सर्व नहीं करना, तो फिर भगवान क्या करते हैं? ठीक है, आपको एंजॉय करना है, आप एंजॉय करियो, नो प्रॉब्लम. तो भगवान क्या करते हैं? मटेरियल वर्ल्ड क्रिएट करते हैं. तो इस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड के अंदर सोल को भेज दिया जाता है. तो सोल हैज कम टू द मटेरियल वर्ल्ड टू एंजॉय. बट एक्चुअली वंस द सोल कम्स टू दिस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड, देन सोल कम्स टू नो दैट दिस वर्ल्ड इज नॉट फॉर एंजॉयमेंट. जैसे भगवद गीता कहते हैं 8 चैप्टर 16 वर्स, दुखाल्यम अशाश्वतम, वेयर कृष्णा सेज कि जो संसार है दुखाल्यम, दुखों का भरा हुआ है, और अशाश्वतम, इट इज टेम्परेरी. मटेरियल वर्ल्ड इज टेम्परेरी, स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड इज इटर्नल. तो जब सोल यहाँ पे आती है, फिर उसको जो बॉडी मिलती है, उसके बाद फिर वो जब पता लगता है कि यहाँ कष्ट ही कष्ट है, तो जिसको रियलाइज होता है कि ये मेरा असली जगह नहीं है, मुझे अपने भगवान के धाम वापिस जाना है, तो वो क्या करेगा? भगवान का सर्वेंट बन के भगवान को सर्व करना शुरू कर देगा, फिर वापिस चला जाएगा. लेकिन जो सोचता है नहीं मुझे आनंद पाना है, मुझे एंजॉय करना है, वो क्या करेगा? वो उस 84 लाख में जो साइक्लिकल, जो प्रोफेसर ओलिवर ने बोला, जो साइक्लिकल जो साइकिल है, वो उसी में फंसा रहेगा. अच्छे काम करेगा तो स्वर्ग लोक में चला जाएगा, वहां पे फिर एंजॉय करके फिर वापिस आएगा. बुरे काम करेगा तो नरक लोक में जाएगा, वहां फिर सजा भुगत के फिर वापिस आएगा. वो उस 84 लाख योनि में फंसा रहेगा. लेकिन जो भगवान की सेवा करेगा, जिसको ना एंजॉयमेंट से कुछ लेना है, ना गलत काम से लेना है, जिसको हम भगवत गीता में अकर्म बोलते हैं. अकर्म का मतलब ना पाइस एक्टिविटी, ना बैड एक्टिविटी, जस्ट डूइंग एवरीथिंग फॉर द लॉर्ड. जो इस तरह की एक्टिविटी करेगा, वो फिर अपनी सोल उसकी कहाँ चली जाएगी? भगवान के धाम में वापस. फिर वो भगवान के धाम में भगवान की सेवा करेगा. उसको ये जो साइकिल है, उससे छुटकारा मिल जाएगा, जिसको हम बोलते हैं मुक्ति और द लिबरेशन. वो सोल लिबरेट हो जाएगा. सो दैट इज द साइकिल ऑफ सोल गोज ऑन. I think it's clear. इसका क्वेश्चन था.
Yes, sir. The next question is about how about virus? This is by Dr. Anil Gupta again. How about virus? It is considered a bridge between living and non-living. how does it do transition between living and non-living?
So I think that's basically biology. So no need to discuss biology. So we should only understand at this stage that anything who has got soul, that is a living. So virus is also living, we know biologically, and bacteria is also living, protozoa. So basically that is a, you can say, progression of the species. So in English, unicellular, then multicellular, then human beings. So human beings are the most complex living organism. Otherwise, everything is same. There is no difference spiritually, whether is a bacteria or protozoa or human being. From spiritual point of view, both are same. The soul quality is same in protozoa and same in virus, same in bacteria, same in human being. There is no difference at all as far as soul is concerned.
So there is another question by Dr. Vikas. Can soul be controlled?
I think again in the next topic there is one topic called as mind control. So how to soul cannot be controlled. Soul is eternal. Soul, in fact, the soul has to serve the Lord. That is the only purpose of the soul. But what happens? Our soul is made up of mind, intelligence, and false ego. Okay. So this intelligence and the mind and false ego, how they work in relation with each other. So that is the topic. If our mind controls everything, then we become bad people. If our intelligence control our soul, then we become good people. So interaction of these things, mind, body, soul. So that we will discuss in the next topic, next lecture.
There is another one quick question from Vikas, that soul can be bad if soul is not dead, not born. Where it goes?
So I think already answered this question. Soul comes from the spiritual world, then it takes some body as per our karma. So as per that karma, it takes that body, then perform that work. Like soul may take the shape of a lion, eat non-veg, everything, human being. So like that, then whatever karma it does, accordingly it will travel further. So it can go higher up, it can go down also. So down means नरक लोक, higher up means various good लोक, एंड अगर उससे भी ज्यादा अच्छा करेगा तो फिर क्या करेगा, भगवान के धाम, भगवान के लोग, जहाँ पे उसको आना ही नहीं पड़ेगा.
It's another question from Vikas again. Ghost is soul. Is it true or false?
Can you repeat question?
Ghost is soul. Is it true or false?
Ghost or
Ghost.
Ghost is soul.
Is it true or false?
I have not understood the question. Host is soul means what?
Ghost, ghost.
Sir, it's ghost, booth.
Ghost.
Ghost.
Okay, yeah, ghost. Yeah, there is a, yeah, we should understand what is ghost. So there is a reality that is called as ghost. So normally what happens, our soul is made of, our body, there is a, this is gross body what we are seeing, made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. So then there is subtle body. Okay, then there is soul. So soul is made up of mind, intelligence, false ego, and subtle body is, there is some subtle body also in our within this gross body. So this what is this subtle body? Subtle body had mind, intelligence, false ego, and then soul has this Sat Chit Anand. Okay, so quality of soul is just like of Lord, that is Sat Chit Anand, while subtle body is made of mind, intelligence, false ego. So what is death? So when death happens, our this gross body is gone. It doesn't function. But our subtle body made of mind, intelligence, false ego, that is still there, and soul is still there. So death means now this soul with the subtle body that has left the body. So now this gross body is dead. So we will bury it or burn it. Now subtle body and the soul that will travel further. So they will take another body. So this subtle body that carries everything, and the soul goes to next body, and new this thing is born. Okay, so what was his exact question? Ghost. That was the, what is ghost? So what happens, suppose somebody dies accidentally or suddenly, and now the subtle body has come out with the soul, but there is no next body available, gross body is not there. So that subtle body travels sometime here and there. So that subtle body without gross body, that is called as ghost. Okay, so when that subtle body gets next body, then that ghost disappears. So ghost means without gross body, subtle body. So that happens, and that is a factual as per our scriptures. So means there is no gross body, but subtle body is moving here and there. And then once that subtle body gets the gross body, then that ghost gets delivered.
So good afternoon, Mahesh Rawat this side.
Yeah. Yes, Mahesh.
So there are a couple of Yeah, there are a couple of questions from YouTube. Mr.
Yeah.
Pratap Patra is asking, is there any concept of good soul or bad soul? And
So-
another question he's asking it's that at which side of our body soul resides?
Okay, so there is no question of good soul or bad soul. Soul quality is just like quality of the God. So I said Sat Chidanand, eternal, full of knowledge, blissful. That is the quality of the God, and same is the quality of the soul. So soul of a terrorist and the soul of a good saintly person is same. It is problem is our actions are different because of our activity, which are done by the mind and the intelligence, not by the soul. Soul is same for everyone. So it is the covering outside the soul, that is mind and the intelligence. They dictate soul that this should be done, this should not be done. Otherwise, quality of soul is same. So what was the second part?
And the second question was, which side of our body
so-
soul resides?
So as per Bhagavad Gita, the soul is located inside our body around the heart. So in the area of the heart, soul exists, and there is even size of soul also mentioned. So Bhagavad Gita says the size of the soul is 1/10,000th part of tip of the hair. So if we take tip of our hair, 1/10,000 part of that is the size of the soul. So that is given in Bhagavad Gita. Yes.
And sir, he's coming with a very quick and next question. Is the mode of death decides a priori?
Mode of death decides our.
A priori means the mode of death decides. It is already pre-decided or what?
Actually, again,
The mode of death.
again, it's a very vast topic. So basically, when we are born, so everything is already pre-decided that when we are going to die. Okay, so that is definitely decided by the Lord. So when we die and what is our age, so that is already decided. But that does not mean that that is the only thing. So Bhagavad Gita very clearly say karma philosophy also. So we can change our destiny, we can change our fate by our karma. Okay, so something is fixed, that is called as divine. So that is definitely fixed. But there is second part of that, that is called as not divinity, divinity plus our karma. So divinity and the karma that decide our future. So we cannot depend totally on the divinity that everything is fixed. So I should sit at home, I should not do anything because whatever is in my fate, destiny, that will happen. No, it is not like that. Bhagavad Gita say that we have to work, we have to do our prescribed duty. So by our prescribed duty, whatever divinity is written, that will be there. But even we can change that to some extent by our karma and surrender to the Lord. So that is the, so divinity plus karma, both the things together. Even Bhagavatam says karmana devi netren. Karmana devi netren means divinity, that is Lord is seeing everything, and karma, whatever we are doing. So depending on these two things, we get the next body. So it is not that everything is pre-decided. So it is decided, that is the part of the truth. Second part is our karma. So whatever we karma do, accordingly we get the next body. Even Bhagavad Gita says, Updrashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. So that means Lord is saying, I am Updrashta also, I am Anumata also. So Updrashta means Lord says कि मैं सब कुछ देख रहा हूँ, सब कुछ मेरी नजरों में हो रहा है, और अनुमंता, और जो कुछ हो रहा है उसका परमिशन भी मैं दे रहा हूँ. तो जैसे हम बोलते हैं भगवान की परमिशन के बिना पत्ता भी नहीं हिल सकता. So that is also truth. So अगर हम कोई चोर अगर चोरी करना चाहता है, तो for that also Lord sanction whether he should do or he should not do. Okay, so it is our free will. By that we try to do something, but that free will ultimately becomes sanctified by that becomes sanctioned by the Lord. So definitely you need the mercy of the Lord for doing any activity. But basically first you have to decide what you want to do. So that is free will given to us. So we decide as per our free will. Then if we get the mercy of the Lord, then that particular activity is done. So if we don't have free will, then nothing will happen. If Lord doesn't want, then also nothing is going to happen. So mixture of both, our free will, and we should do hard work, we should do prescribed duty. Then if Lord wants, then that thing will happen. Otherwise, that may not happen. Like somebody works a lot of hard work, student, he does a lot of things, but he doesn't get good marks. Other person reads very little, but he gets very good marks. So how does it happen? It is not only our hard work, but depends on the mercy of the Lord also. So both the things together decide our future. Yes, Mesh, any other question?
No, sir. No, sir. Thank you. We are done with the YouTube questions.
Thank you, Mesh. Yeah, Ruchi, anything? You are muted. Just unmute, Ruchi. Yeah, any other question?
No, sir, we are done with the chat questions.
Okay. Any comments from Professor Oliver? Finally.
Thank you. And I just only a few comments. I think it's everything what you said is right. And I think that soul and the living is cannot be divided. And as we in our Christian history say this, we cannot locate the soul like you near the heart, but it's an old topic in European lyrics and something that the heart is the most important part of the body that may be the same. So thank you again, and thank you.
Thanks, Professor Oliver, your comment. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Dr. Arya. Bhagavad Gita is really a science of self-discovery. And from the very beginning, it focuses on humanity, that guides about the dimensions of human body and how to identify the transcendental state from within. So with this, I would like to thank Dr. Sudesh Arya, our speakers of the session, Dr. Oliver Mike, the guest of our session, and entire IMBS team for organizing this highbrow session. And we are hoping to join in our next session, that is on next upcoming Sunday. So we'll be focusing on that also. And I invite all to join again.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. I thanks all, especially IMBS team and Ruchi and Dr. Jitendra and all their team. Wonderful job. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good day, sir. Thank you.